Today, NASA announced that it is officially extending the New Horizons mission. That means the New Horizons spacecraft, which flew by Pluto in July 2015, will be doing another flyby of an object in the Kuiper Belt. That's the large cloud of icy bodies found at the edge of the solar system.
Friends, Jacob here. Oh, thank you so much for pressing play and for subscribing, and thank you for all of the awesome comments. Oh my goodness, I love them. I even love the mean ones, because some of them are incredibly bright and witty and very, very funny, and I do appreciate them. And I try to get back to everybody, and if I haven't gotten back to you, just give me some time. Today I want to talk to you about NASA's New Horizon mission, which has been extended, which I think is awesome. It was sent out to go to basically study Pluto.
The New Horizons spacecraft, which flew by Pluto in July 2015, will be doing another flyby of an object in the Kuiper Belt.
It's interesting because I often talk about these little breadcrumbs, this how I'm inspired to look into things, and this was one of them. I stumbled upon this, this wonderful article about this, New Horizons mission and how, they're going to make the most out of it.
During the flyby, New Horizons will gather photos and data of MU-69, just like it did of Pluto. But that's not the only object the spacecraft will be studying during the extended mission. They
sent this, the New Horizons, they sent it out to study Pluto. And it's been traveling for some time, and now that it's there, they've now extended the mission. And what are they going to study? We're going to study a lot of other things in the Kuiper Belt.
That includes studying the dwarf planet Eris, the second largest object in the Kuiper Belt. New Horizons will also be passing through the densest part of the belt, coming within 10 million miles of other nearby objects.
Now that's what this is all about. It's about Eris, because when I was reading this awesome post on the NASA website, I was really struck by this one little quote that the head guy had said. If you know anything about Eris, a lot of people have called it Nibiru as well, and Planet X and Planet 7X and Nibiru and Hercopolis, or there's so many names for this. Well, Eris is another one of these names, and interesting enough, Eris is like a goddess of chaos and destruction, and check it out. You'll notice that Eris is also pictured with the wings. Well, Eris, this trans-orbital planet, is also much like Nibiru. It has a interesting orbit that is, swinging possibly towards us. Although as I dug into the research, I couldn't find anywhere that said that it was heading towards us, you know? Actually, what I found was it said that it is like, they call it like the 10th planet. Like it's so far away from the sun and it's farther out past Pluto. But what's interesting about that, you know, while they're taking all these pictures and they're collecting all this data, they also make a point in their video to, you know, mention Eris.
That includes studying the dwarf planet Eris, the second largest object in the Kuiper Belt. New Horizons will also be passing through the densest part of the belt, coming within 10 million miles of other nearby objects.
Now it's interesting, you know, that they pointed this out, and they made a point of showing you even that red planet, right, or that dwarf star or whatever it is. You know, they made a point of talking about it, and they made a point of saying that they're going to study it. Now, everything that I read about Eris says that it is very, very far away. It's past Pluto, right? But what's interesting about this, now this is where, you know, you gotta really shake your head and say, wait a minute, we're not being told the whole story. In this little article that I read on the NASA website, the head guy says that we're going to even be able to capture pictures and collect data on Eris, and it talks about what Eris is. But this is the interesting thing. It says, although we'll be farther away than if we were on Earth. In other words, Eris is now closer to Earth than the New Horizons mission. I thought that Eris was so far away, and the New Horizons, you know, the craft it's going to be right there. It doesn't make any sense for him to say such a thing, unless, of course, Eris is on its way. Could Eris be Nibiru? Is that what's going on? Let me tell you a little bit about this, you know, this crossing planet, this planet that is pictured always as a cross and with wings. And well, everywhere you look, I mean, this is not, you know, a lot of people say that Nibiru isn't real, but all you have to do is do a little bit of research and you'll find that there is plenty of evidence that there is some kind of a planet that looks like a cross that has made an orbit here before. And I'm not just talking about Sitchin and the Sumerian tablets. I'm talking about, you know, etchings, cave etchings. I'm talking about lots of artifacts that are found. Now, what's interesting is what's going on around the world with all of the flooding and all of the earthquakes, and that we are just in such a crazy, crazy time. I don't know if any of you have paid attention to what's going on with, you know, the weather. But we've reached a point that is just incredibly disastrous. Something about jet streams passing the equator, and that spells absolute destruction and disaster for this planet. Why am I saying all this? Well, once again, none of this would be happening if it was just simply anthropogenic, if it was just simply, man-made, carbon footprint. It only makes sense that something is heading our way. There's actually a book that was written about Eris causing global climate change. I found that interesting, and I also found interesting this really remarkable astronomer who's incredibly well respected in the field, talking about how Nibiru is coming. Now, he didn't use the word Nibiru, he used Hercopolis, or I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think that if you're into Nibiru and you're into these things, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Que lo que se verá es Marte o cualquier otro planeta, pero en realidad es el Hercólogos. ¿Qué consecuencias sobre nuestro planeta?
Las más terroríficas.
It goes by many names. And I just thought to myself, well, it would be confusing if it went by all these names, because how do you really keep track? I mean, we know Nibiru is the name that we all know. Could Nibiru be Eris? Is Eris heading towards us? Is that why NASA made a point of saying in their video that they're going to be studying Eris?
That includes studying the dwarf planet Eris, the second largest object in the Kuiper Belt.
Is that the reason? You know why? Because when things get closer to the point where things are visible in the sky, and yes, right now, some people are saying that it is, but you really do, from what I understand in my research, you really do need to have just fantastic equipment, telescopes, and all of that to really see what's going on. But in a couple of years, that's not going to be the case. I mean, I don't think that any of this is going to happen, within the next 6 months. I think that this is going to happen, and we have some time. And I think that this time is for us all to get the word out and to prepare. And I don't mean prepare like live in fear. I mean prepare like start to really get your house in order, start to really live your life, because this doesn't necessarily spell disaster and doom for us all. What it does say is that we're headed for a new day, and that new day could be on the tails of Eris coming towards us. When you look at what that lead NASA guy had said, the guy who's in charge, when he said that it'd be easier to take the pictures from Earth because Eris is closer to the Earth right now than Pluto, that's a dead giveaway that they have been lying to us. And they haven't told us that Eris is headed our way. It's a mess, people. And they slide that little thing in. It was almost like like when I read it, I was struck within my heart, because I said, hang on a second. I thought Eris was farther away than Pluto, and if the New Horizon craft is right there at Pluto, wouldn't it be close? Well, not according to the head guy. The head guy says that it'd be easier and closer if we were taking the pictures from Earth itself. We're being lied to, blatantly and openly lied to. We're not being told the truth, and I get it, I understand. You don't want chaos, you don't want people to go crazy, we don't want cats and dogs living together. We want peace, right? Well, we need to be given more credit than that. We need to come together as a people, and we need to put our faith in more than what they're telling us to put our faith in. We need to seek We need to ask questions because there is such devastating climate change right now. There is such devastating fish kills, and I mean, we're seeing fish kills on a regular basis. I mean, animals are dying off in the thousands and hundreds of thousands, and not to mention the massive flooding, which, by the way, for years, people that talked about Nibiru said this is exactly what would happen if an extraplanetary system comes into our solar system. And according to this head guy, it sounds like it already is. And that's frightening because nobody's talking about it. There are a lot of crazy things going on. I mean, did you see even the pictures of Jupiter? What the heck? There is so much to talk about. My last video was on the Mandela effect, and I have to tell you something. It's, you can say what you want. Either, millions and millions of us just have completely, had spouts of like terrible memory and we've remembered everything wrong, or things have like legitimately changed. Dimensions are blending into dimensions. Who is to say that the powers that be know what's coming? And this has been their call to action. I mean, why else are they allowing them to open up black holes? Yeah, no, I get it. They're, finding interesting things, like they just found an interesting tetraquark, and they're trying to discover dark matter, and they're opening new dimensions and trying to figure out the time travel. I get it all, But could that be their marching orders? Is that the reason? Is all of this happening because the powers that be are trying to somehow, play God and save this world corrupt system? This corrupt system that is built on lies. This corrupt system that is run by people who are immoral and bankrupt. This system which is control. This system which tells families to break up and tells children to buy the latest video game and kill the enemy. This system which focuses everything on money and greed and nothing to do with compassion. This system which tells you it's a dog-eat-dog world. Step up to the plate and have your dinner. This system which says if you don't want to go along with us, well, we're just going to go to war. This system that flagrantly and terribly violates every single type of human rights law and lies to us and feeds us every reality show and every celebrity selfie and nude picture to keep us focused and entertained and dumb. This system that is corrupt to the very core. They're trying to keep it in place. They're trying to keep it from falling apart. The bottom line is I'm excited because a new day is coming. There will be peace. There will be hope. Everything in your life is working together for the good of those that love God. And let me tell you something. I want to point a couple of things out. I'm into conspiracy, right? I get it. People can say I'm a conspiracy guy. But a lot of people too that are even watching these videos, they pointed out this you know, the little cube. It's a picture of my wife and I. My mother got it for me, and I thought it was really sweet. And so I like to put it there because it's like putting my wife and I in this video together. I am a man of God. I'm a man of faith. And if you know anything about my earlier work, just go to my website, jacobisrael.com. You know, just read my novel. It's available now. You'll see. Judge the tree by its fruit. Don't put things where you want them to be. Because when we judge other people, what we're doing is we're really projecting our heart onto them. And I'm just a man that wants to share, and I'm a man that has a passion. I want to see the world change in a better way. So the cube, it's just my wife and I. The clock, I know it stopped. It's on 11:11. I get that. You know why? Because when I was younger, I saw 11:11 everywhere, and I felt like it was a wake-up call, you know, and it was actually, there's an 11:11 phenomenon everywhere else. So I kind of liked that it stopped on 11:11, because I think it's time for us all to wake up, you know. And the oil painting behind me was something we saw at and we just picked it up. I don't know who the artist is. The elephant behind me, this is my nanny. My nanny, she, my mother was a teenage mom. She was, you know, young. I lived with my nanny, my grandmother. She loved elephants. She had them everywhere. So I have that right there. And that's me. And, you know, and I talk with my hands because I'm Italian. People keep asking me, are you Jewish? The name is God-given. It's my name. And I am not Jewish. You know, I keep telling people I'm Italian. I'm Italian-Irish. That's my heritage. And I talk with my hands because everybody talks with their hands. And please don't read into it. And if I do something, you know, by accident, please understand that it is not because I'm involved in some nonsense, especially if I'm doing videos to expose the nonsense, all right? So anyway, thank you for subscribing. Please do tell everybody about it. And check out my novel. The link is it's in the little comment section. And click on it. Buy a copy today. I love you all. Talk to you soon.